As teens, what did you admire about your spouse?
Um, I admired her ability to smile with her eyes the most. So,
Um, when I first met Josh, he was always running around and, he was always in and out of the house. I would go visit my sister, and he was always in and out and gone. And it made me think that he always had something to be doing. He had goals, he had things that he wanted to achieve, and I found that admiring. Yeah.
What was your first impression of your spouse?
mine was that she was cute and she was playful and she was short like me, so it would work out.
Mine goes along with the last question. I always thought he was mysterious because he was always gone, and coming and going, and who knows where he was going all the time, but he was always determined to get there, and yeah.
What do you think is the one thing that your spouse likes best about you?
I would say my charm and my muscles.
um, I think he likes most about me, probably that I'm low maintenance. I take care of myself, I pay for myself, and uh, I'm pretty easygoing, and I have a lot of patience. So yeah, I'm just super chill. I think that's part of it.
Wrong on that one, so.
You're wrong.
If you could describe your spouse in one word, what would it be?
Um, okay, if I choose one word, I would say amazing. Overall, just amazing.
My one word I chose for him was a dreamer. He's always dreaming about what he can do, where we can be, just dreaming about literally anything, everything.
Is there any special memory about your spouse that you will never forget?
Oh, I'm answering first, that's right. So, one of the things is right after basic training, graduation, Jennifer came and found me, and you can just see how much she missed me. And
We had been apart for 2.5 months without even speaking to each other. We could only write letters. So it was the first time I seen him, heard his voice in months.
and so yeah, she just came running up to me, found me, and was crying, and held on to me for the longest time. Maybe I'll have to go away for 2 months and not talk to her again. So
Okay, so one of my most memorable moments with you was back right before we were even dating, when I had come to visit in Utah. It was during one of the Harry Potter book releases. It was like midnight, middle of the night, and it was here in Utah. And we were just waiting in line, and we're like, let's just go outside. It's like getting too hot in here. It's getting kind of sweaty and a
crowded.
lot of people. So we went outside, and we ended up laying in the grass, listening to headphones and looking up at the stars. And so, yeah, that's one of my favorite memories.
And that's the time I pulled my sly mood of holding her hand
You
because her
didn't
hands
hold
were
you didn't
cold.
hold my hand then.
Okay, a couple weeks after.
No, you didn't. It was like years.
Okay, I don't know.
This was like when I came to visit in Utah.
Okay,
We
moving
were
on.
we were just friends.
What was an important spiritual experience for you as a couple?
Mine was just our wedding when we got sealed, looking across the altar, and
That's also what I put. Our obviously getting married is one of the most spiritual moments ever. If you're getting sealed in the temple, it's forever and eternity, and you're looking at each other, and it's just there's no other way to describe it.
What was it about your spouse that made you realize that they were the one?
so for me, it was after my mission, we went on to a trip to Lake Powell, and Jennifer flew out and met up with her sister and came with us. And one night, while the boat was on the trailer, Jennifer and I just hung out, and she asked me about my mission and took the missionary opportunity to teach her the plan of salvation. And I just, knew from then that I wanted to be with her.
Yeah, because I mean, I wasn't a member at the time. I put, honestly, the Spirit guided me to Utah. Things just, my whole life has been kind of crazy, and everything has always been hard. But coming to Utah was one of the easiest experiences I've ever had. Everything just fell into place. Things just happened to work. So I knew I was meant to be here, and being with Josh was also that easy. Things just fell into place, and that's how I knew, it wasn't work. So, yeah.
What would be your spouse's ideal date?
You go first.
Oh, yeah. Jennifer's ideal date would be curling up on the couch and just watching a movie. And that's it.
Yeah. That's a good one. I put Josh's ideal date would be us dressing up super fancy and going to an extravagant event and slow dancing all night long, forever.
I would have to practice first, though.
That's true. But you do love slow dancing, even though you're not very good at it.
Yeah.
How did Josh propose?
So Josh and I had gone and looked at rings. I guess this kind of answers the next question, but I'll tell the proposal story. So we had planned to go to the circus because I grew up very poor and I'd never been to the circus. So at the ripe old age of 20, I went to my first circus. And no, 21. I was 21. I went to the circus for the first time in my life, and before the circus, we went and they had this like special meet the animals little area, so you could go and like see all the tigers playing with their ball and their cardboard boxes and stuff. It was so fun. We went to the circus, and then he dropped me off at my sister's house to just hang out, and he went to go. Who knows? He always is just off doing who knows what. He's such a mystery all the time. Surprises. He called me to pick me up later on that day, that evening, and we drove up to Squaw Peak, and it has the amazing view of the city and the whole valley and the lake, and he had a telescope set up there, and he's like, okay, let's find our house. Like, let's find different places around the city from this point. And so I'm just, like, looking through the city. And he just, like, disappears again. He's just gone, talking to some people in Portuguese, which he always does. We went to the Harry Potter Wizarding World, and he left us to go talk Portuguese with some random people he overheard. So I'm used to this at this point. And so I was just like looking for things, and for some reason the only thing I could ever find was the freaking Costco. There's no losing the Costco in Orem. So finally he comes back, and he's like, okay, let me try. And he starts setting up the telescope, and I'm just like looking at the view, and he's like, oh, I found our house, or I found it. And then so I look in, and it's set in the grass. It says marry me in a park. And so I turned around, and he's on his knee with the ring. So yeah, the rest is history.
Yep. So, a couple weeks prior, I had cut some boards and painted them white. And when I had dropped her off and left, that's what I was doing, was setting up those boards in the grass. It just had "Marry Me?" ? And my friend Matt and his parents helped me make a dinner of lasagna, because that's her favorite food. And we set up the park all nice with candles and a picnic afterwards. So after I proposed, we drove down there and had dinner. But it didn't really matter too much because Jennifer was so distracted by the proposal that that was the only thing important to her.
It's true. I don't really remember a lot of what happened after that. It was like a lot of emotions and excitement, and just, it was like went by so fast. It went by so fast.
Yep. And when I asked the question, Jennifer was just giggling and laughing.
That's true.
And it was somewhat a surprise because, I mean, we had gone and looked at rings and even went to a custom ring shop. But she thought it would be like weeks down the road to get her ring made.
Yeah, because he told the guy to tell me it would be a few weeks before the ring would be made. But he lied to me. He told the guy to lie to me so that I wouldn't see it coming.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it.
Did you know he was going to pop the question?
I did the day of. He had planned. I knew the moment he kind of disappeared and was like, "Oh, I have this surprise for you." It had been already like a great day, and so I was like, I thought he was going to propose to me without the ring, though. That was the part that was surprising, is that I was like, well, I guess he's going to do it tonight, but my ring's not going to be there, so I don't know how he's going to plan on doing this. Like, yeah.
Did Josh do the traditional thing and ask for your hand in marriage?
So
No.
I tried for like a week. I called her dad, and he would never answer. And so I was like, what's up? And so I got on Facebook, the social media website, and I sent him a message saying, hey, like, I'm going to give you a call. I want you to pick up when I do call you. It's really important. And so
He sent
I
that
tried
message to
doing
my
that,
dad.
and, he didn't get to that either. And so finally I asked her, like, Jennifer, like, does your dad pick up the phone? Like, she already knew I was going to propose because we had ordered a ring. And so Jennifer was in the car, and she was calling her brother to wish him happy birthday. And so I just took the phone
Yep.
and asked to speak to her dad, and just asked him right there with Jennifer in the car.
Yeah, I was there when he was asking my dad.
Yeah. And he was really excited, He already knew us pretty well, with Derek being married, my brother, Derek being married to Jennifer's older
my
sister,
sister.
Stephanie, so it worked out good.
What adjective best describes your spouse on your wedding day and why?
I said cool, but I could tell that she was nervous, and she was very defensive, didn't want anybody to know that she didn't know what was going on. We had a crazy day where it was a Monday, so the Salt Lake Temple was only opened a short period of time in the morning, and we had to do her endowment that morning and do the sealing that morning, and so it was just a lot for Jennifer.
Yeah, I got my endowments out at 7 a.m. and we got sealed at 11 a.m. So it was a long morning. It was kind of crazy all at once, but it worked out great. I wrote down that Josh was glowing. He was so excited that since I'm a convert to the church and I hadn't been baptized for a year at that point, we had to get special approval to get sealed when we did, because Josh was leaving for the military in January. So we got married in December. It was either they approve and let us get married in December, or we would have to wait until June when he would get back. So we got special approval from the First Presidency to get sealed earlier than my 1 year for being a member of the church. So it was kind of a miracle. Like I said, things just fell into place. Things just worked, and he was glowing because we had managed to make it to the temple and be set up for when he was gone.
I didn't know I could glow, but apparently I can.
Why was getting married in the temple important to both of you?
Just because it's something internal. Like, I just knew I wanted to be with Jennifer forever, and just thinking about it until death really kind of sucked. Just didn't want it ending.
And for me, being a convert to the church, my sister and I are the only members of the church. And knowing that I would be getting married in the temple where my family can't go and see, it took a lot of sacrificing to make that decision. But honestly, it's the most important decision I ever had to make. Being sealed for all eternity and making the sacrifices that I need to make temple covenants. I mean, that's what life is about, is your choices and how that can lead you to the right, where you need to be.
Was it a challenge to do so?
It was, like Jennifer said, she was a convert, and so dating was really tough because like, just coming off my mission, like, I had my priorities straight then. Like, I had this eternal mindset. And so dating Jennifer was, I knew our dating would come to an end if she didn't make that choice to get a testimony for herself, choose to be baptized, and then go to the temple with me. So, I mean, I'd have many nights where, I kind of felt hopeless. Some nights where, I had hope. But it was a roller coaster every day. And
It was such a roller coaster because I resisted a lot because I wanted to do it for me. I didn't want to be getting baptized for Josh or for anybody, for my sisters. I wanted it to be for me. I wanted to find it for myself. And that's obviously easier said than done. And so there was a lot of struggles to just find my truth, find my beliefs, and Josh was patient with me the whole time as I found what I needed. Even though, like, he would try to, like, do his missionary thing, but I was very resistant to that because I didn't want him to be the one. I didn't want him to be the reason why I was baptized. So I was resisting every time he would try to go missionary mode. I'd be like, no, I have my own missionaries. I have my own path. I'm working on my own things. I don't want your help in this. I want to do it for me.
And that's the thing is that she didn't want any outside pressure either. And so she actually met with the missionaries at a church house where...
I didn't tell anybody I was meeting with the missionaries.
So only I knew, and I would take her. And but like I said, it was just a roller coaster.
I mean, we both had work to do to make it to the temple, and that's why being there was so spiritual, because we had both finally made it.
Who would you say is the most unusual family member that you have met?
You first.
Oh, me? I would say Jennifer's grandpa. Like, you say something, either doesn't hear or he hears, and then he just goes along with his own thing. And so, like, my grandfather was bad enough.
That's who I put. I put his grandpa.
No, my dad's grandfather was. He was always trying to joke around with you, and he's like trying to laugh at his jokes, but it wasn't really possible to laugh at his jokes.
My grandpa has some crude humor, so it's an interesting experience when you meet them. Both my grandparents they're just crude, unexpected behaviors, and I would say Josh's grandpa. Every time I see him, he kisses me on the cheek, and that's kind of weird. And he taught us this handshake. Do you want to do the handshake with me?
I don't remember it too well, but
okay. Up high, down low, through the hole. Your grandpa taught us that. I was like, what did I just do? Yeah, that guy, he's funny, and and coincidentally, he's the one who sealed us because he's a sealer at the temple, so he's the one who sealed us.
He was a temple president. So.
Yeah.
What is one thing that your spouse does for you that they hate, but does it because you love it?
I'd say keeping my hand still when I'm holding hands with her. I'm very fidgety. And so I like to move my thumb on her hand or something.
He's a wiggler for sure.
And so I just have to keep still because it just annoys her. So yeah,
I'm laid back, chill, and he's like the wiggler that has to keep moving. I'm like, stop moving. I said anything to do with the cat. I mean, you didn't want the cat to begin with. You don't care for you have started loving her though.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
You cuddle with her when I'm not there.
No, I don't.
What do you find most physically attractive about your spouse?
I would say her smile, and when she lights up like this. I think just her light in general. You just see it in her face.
I like that answer.
Well, and there's lots of other things, but we won't go into that.
I said his hands. I usually always said his eyes. But I'm gonna say his hands because they work so hard. He's always moving. He's always working, but he can be so gentle, like with me and with children. His hands and his hands represent his work and his touch, and yeah, that's what I like most.
I didn't know I had model hands.
I didn't say that.
Oh, dang it.
When is your spouse least appealing to you, the most appealing?
This is gonna get dark.
You
When
can
she
choose what you want to answer and what you want to talk about.
when she gives me that look, like
Is this the
just,
least or the most?
This is the least for sure. When she just gives me a stern look, like, or and she just like corrects me on the spot. And then most appealing is when she wears lingerie. So I'll go with that one.
Of course. Okay, I don't want to say what I wrote down.
No, you say what you wrote down.
I said he's least attractive when he like passes gas, but it sounds like he's like pooping. It's like so bad, and it happens way too often. And most is I find him most attractive when he's interacting with kids, and that was one of the things that really drew me to Josh. Is he's very family oriented and wants to have a family, and I guess this whole farting thing will go along with the kids thing, but.
Maybe my kids are gonna think I'm hilarious. Okay.
Hopefully not.
How often do you date since your marriage, and would you like to date more?
I think we date probably about one to two times a month, where we actually say, like, let's go on a date or let's make this a date. And I'd like to date more for sure. I think.
See, and I'm like the opposite. My definition of date is like way different than yours. Like me and you staying at home together, like that's a date for me. I just like spending time with you. Anytime we're spending quality time together is a date. I don't really need to go out and go to dinner or anything like that. When you and I are like at home building Legos, that's a date for me. And so I feel like, in my opinion, my definition of a date, I feel like we do date very often. We spend a lot of time together. I mean, obviously, it's never enough. So, yes, I would like to do it more, but...
If your spouse had a superhero power, what would it be?
I put shooting lasers out of her eyes. This goes all along with the glare thing. She would totally incinerate me in a second if she could.
That's a good one. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I put instantly thinking of solutions in emergencies. You always know, like, when things happen, you're like, okay, this is what we're going to do. Also, I put flying just because you're a pilot, and you would totally be up there. You wouldn't need any way to fly. You would just be flying.
I'm already Superman. You just don't know it.
Oh, gosh. I'm the one with the laser vision, though.
Yeah.
Which of the following Valentine's gifts would your spouse prefer the most? A beautiful bouquet of 24 red roses. You offering to clean the house for a month. A 1-hour massage given by you. Or 2 weeks of taking care of the pets.
For this one, I definitely put clean the house for a month. I think that's what Jennifer would like the most.
Yeah, I like that. I said that you would want the 1-hour massage given by me.
Oh, really?
What would you want? That's the one you would
That's
want.
like a one-time thing.
That's one of the answers.
But no, I would go 2 weeks of taking care of the pets.
I don't think so.
Okay.
If I said, Josh, I'll give you a 1-hour massage right now, or I'll take care of the pets for the next 2 weeks, which one would you choose?
Well, I would take care of... I
I
would choose the immediate...
You would always choose the pet, or the massage. You would always choose that.
Yeah.
How many children does your spouse want?
I think Jennifer wants just as many as we can have, like within reason. She doesn't want to get overloaded, but with having to do infertility treatment, it's definitely something that, we have to save up for, and we have to it's gonna come when it can. So.
Yeah. Yep. We have to do IVF to have a kid, so we're I'm kind of like one kid, if one or two kids, it's going to be so expensive. It just depends on how many the Lord blesses us with. But I know that Josh has always said that he wants at least 4 kids. He wants more than 3 because he grew up in a 3-kid family, so him and his 2 siblings. He wants at least 4 because he doesn't want it to be exactly like how he grew up. I don't
But
know.
I would settle for 2.
I'm just saying I grew up in one of 5, and so I know the craziness begins after 3, and so I don't know. I don't know about that.
What normally is your spouse's last line before they go to bed?
I would say with Jennifer, with my wife, she just hangs out on her phone, trying to get sleepy and just kind of like let everything go in her mind. But it's just like usually a sigh. So I guess no, just like more like your irritated sigh. Like,
I just said, want to cuddle? That's always the last thing you say to me. Want to cuddle? And I'm like, I'm too tired.
yeah.
That's how it goes.
Who hogs the bed covers?
Definitely Jennifer.
I hog the covers, but he hogs the bed. He sleeps with a pillow on top of him, or like, and then like fall to the side. So like there's a pillow and him, and then I'm like on the edge of the bed, like right on the line. So I'm taking all the blankets now.
Oh,
So.
so you do it to get back at me. I see how
Yeah.
it is.
Hey, you wanted all the bed, I get all the blankets.
If your spouse could send you to the body shop for a tune-up, which body parts of yours would they want worked on?
I would definitely say my biceps and my pecs. So,
What work would I want you to have done on that?
like, well, it's not like laser hair removal. It's like I'm going in to pump some iron and to improve it.
I've told you for years that your biceps and your chest muscles are big enough. You need to work out your legs more.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I've been telling you that.
I forgot about my chicken legs. Okay.
And I said that you would definitely want me to have bigger boobs, and I don't know why, but that's just how you are.
If you both have the afternoon off, what do you think your husband would like to do most?
So we'll answer both of it. We'll answer this question both. I think my wife, she would want to watch Hell's Kitchen and America's Next Top Model all afternoon. She could.
Yeah, or any show really. If I watch a lot of shows, so depends on what I'm watching at the time. I said if we have the afternoon off, Josh wants to go grocery shopping all the time. He wants to get stuff done. He wants to do chores. He wants to just go out and get stuff done if we have the afternoon off. Whereas if I get the afternoon off, I'm like, okay, relax time because I'm not at work. Like, I don't know. Yeah, that's where we differ.
Totally not compatible.
You give your spouse the most points for...
I'll go first on this one. Creativity, because you always just think of the most outside things to surprise me with, like this video.
For our 5th anniversary. I just putting up with me, period. Like all my dreams, my hobbies, my the bad and the good and everything.
If your spouse were lost while driving in a foreign city, she would most likely pretend not to be lost, stop and ask for directions, stop and buy a map, or find a way to blame you.
I would go with D, like just straight up finding a way to blame me. That's totally Jennifer.
No. I drove around all South Carolina by myself, okay? And I didn't blame you once if I got lost. Second, I also put find a way to blame you.
Well,
you would blame me.
That's because if you're not driving, you're the navigator.
That's not how I grew up. That's not the rule I knew.
If you were driving,
That's your rule that you tried to expect from me that you never told me.
I would be the navigator, and then you would blame me because I wasn't following the
I
map.
also put pretend not to be lost. You've done that too. Like, I think it's somewhere in this area.
'Cause-
No, I'm pretty sure we're in the right neighborhood. I'm like, wait, you don't know where we're going? And you're like, I do. And then you're like, okay, look it up. Like, you pretend not to be lost.
That's because there's 100 north, 200 north.
That
It just-
no excuses. You pretend not to be lost.
It's Utah.
What does your spouse do that makes you laugh the most?
For this, it's obviously tickling me. Like, I'm extremely ticklish, but that's also the thing that pisses me off the most. So there's that.
Yeah, but you're even funnier when you're angry.
I know.
That's why everybody makes you angry. They're like, let's make Josh mad and see how crazy he can get. I put his cheesy humor. He has the worst jokes, and I don't know if I'm laughing with him or at him, but I'm laughing, so I guess that's all that matters. Also put playing with the dog. When you get the dog riled up, is so funny. She gets so mad.
If your spouse were a character from Harry Potter, who would they be?
I said a mixture of Hermione and Harry Potter, because she's very courageous. She has more potential than she realizes, and she's very, very smart.
You just described Ginny. That's who I am.
Okay, Jenny, whatever.
Good answer. I put, okay, this is gonna sound weird, but listen, hear me out. Okay, I gave you one of the Malfoys, either Draco or his dad.
Oh my gosh.
No,
I'm evil.
listen to me. No, you're not evil, okay? But you have darkness that you have to fight all the time. And that's part of the battle. Is family's number one, and they have to battle this darkness number two. Like, that's the Malfoys, and I feel like you relate to them. You're tempted by this dark side.
Okay.
I know Harry Potter.
What would their favorite spell be and why?
I put, if there was some way to just like flick your wand while you're driving and move the car in front of you, or like go right through it, like that would be Jennifer's all-time favorite spell.
Like, get out of the way. No, I put a Accio, or like to levitate something so that you didn't have to like go and do the work. You would just have it.
Like, come to me.
Yeah, come to me, or like, oh, I forgot something, and then like,
Oh, it appear.
yeah,
Yeah, that would be my favorite.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm always losing stuff too.
exactly. I wouldn't have to help you find all your stuff.
What is your spouse's Patronus?
I don't know exactly what it is because Jennifer like takes a test and everything to find
On
out.
Pottermore.com.
But
Shameless plug.
I put a tiger because that's her favorite animal, and she always gets happy when that comes up. So, yeah, it would just be happy memories, and she would fight away all the Death Eaters because it's so cute, and she laughs.
The mentors.
Whatever.
You're not far off. My actual Patronus is a cat.
Oh, okay.
On Pottermore. Your Patronus on Pottermore is a stallion. But
I think it's a mare.
I could... a what?
A mare.
It's a mare. You don't want to be a mare. That's a girl horse.
I think that's what it is.
I know, but I'm saying you're a guy horse, not a girl horse.
Okay, whatever.
But I could see you being like a bear cub or something. It's kind of scary, but also kind of cuddly.
No, I'd be feisty.
Complete this sentence. It must be true that opposites attract because my spouse and I are total opposites when it comes to...
She just saw my answer. My sex drive. That's what I put.
I said everything. We don't have a whole lot in common.
Yeah, but I make you laugh. So.
Like I said, I still haven't figured out if I'm laughing at you or with you yet.
No,
Right?
that's my cheesiness. I'm not being cheesy right now. I'm just being witty. What do you? Oh, yeah, you put everything.
Yeah, I put everything. Yeah, I go to Comic-Con and I have to drag you to go with me. That's like the opposite of what people would expect.
Complete this sentence. I'd rather lick feet than see my spouse.
Oh.
I put play hockey. I think that would be like the worst thing. Like I would totally like duck out of there and just completely deny that she was my wife and just kind of like
That is the most random thing ever.
Well, I was trying to think like what I would watch you do. Like, yeah.
Hockey, I would consider playing hockey. I like hockey, but that's a weird thing. I hate.
Can't ice skate either.
Yes, I can. I'm better at ice skating than you are.
All right. See, that's the look
Where
right
have
there.
you been?
That's the look.
Anyways, I said I'd rather lick feet than see Josh die because there's literally no other thing I would do to lick a foot because feet are gross. I don't like feet, and if Josh was dying, that's the only time I would lick a foot. Ooh. Try hockey.
To Josh, when it comes to home improvement, your wife considers you to be Tim the Toolman makes the job worse, Bob the Builder, forever starting new projects without completing the old, Al, does it right the first time, Clueless.
I'm going with E, all the above. I think everything is correct with that. So always hopping between projects, making it worse. Oh wait, not Al, because I can't do it right the first time. And then I'm
True.
I'm clueless. But there's YouTube, so I do find out how to do stuff.
To Jennifer, when it comes to home cooking, your husband considers you to be Martha Stewart, smelly old woman in a diner, limited and special, a culinary artist.
I'm limited and special in the cooking department. I can cook. I don't like cooking. I was a chef, actually. A funny story. I worked as a chef in a senior assisted living, and yeah, I just don't enjoy cooking. It's work. It's not fun for me. I love food, though. I want to hire a chef so that I can eat good food and not have to cook it. He cooks way better than I do.
Imitate your spouse when they get angry.
You go first.
Let's see if I can do the look. And it's like, really? Kind of thing.
That's a good one.
Okay.
I like that. Josh is always like, and he's like running around nonstop. He's just always breathing heavily and just like, why? Just random outbursts of like questions. How? Why? I'm in one room and I just hear, how? From the other room. I'm like, what's going on? Like, that's always what happens.
Imitate how your spouse would flirt when you were first dating.
Hers would just be with her eyes, like that was the thing. Like she would look like this right now, or she's just glowing, and just like just memorized by her cuteness.
Memorized or mesmerized?
Mesmerized. You know what I was saying.
Josh was always like trying to be like cool, but like he would always like slither his body.
Slither my body. I remember you saying it. I waddle, so.
That's like part of it. You're like super wiggly, and so you're always like trying to be like cool, and you're like trying to speak in like this cool voice, but it like was like kind of squeaky.
I don't remember this at all. Now you're just making me look like an idiot right now.
Love you.
What sport would you like to see your little kids get into?
You answer first.
So when I mean like this, I mean like before they're really able to have an interest yet. So they're like 5 or something. But I put lacrosse. I think that's a really good sport, and it's fun to watch. I don't like watching sports too much because I think they're too complicated sometimes. And I wasn't raised with having an interest in sports because my dad just doesn't really care. And so, I played lacrosse for a year in high school, and I just think it'd be cool to watch. That and hockey. Hockey's cool too.
Okay, I said any sports. Well, I made a list, but I realized I would be happy if my kids were active. I grew up playing sports. Me and all my family. I love volleyball. I love playing sports. I put baseball, volleyball, gymnastics, dance, anything, as long as they're active and they have something that drives them. And I feel like sports does that.
What is some of the most important wisdom you can give to your children as a teen and then as a young adult?
Don't have an addiction. Don't do drugs. Don't look at porn because it's not fun. And yeah, I would say just know who you are. You know, I think what you do is an expression of who you are. So learn what you value the most, and don't become overwhelmed with things. Don't worry about everything. Just be in the now and be present. It's something I'm trying to learn how to do. And yeah.
I said do what makes you happy without compromising yourself. You know, make decisions based off of what will make you happy. As far as career goes, sure, you can pick the career that makes the most money, but are you going to be happy? You know, don't compromise yourself.
And listen to your mom, because I think she has a lot of wisdom to her. I mean, even without being...
Are you talking about, what if someone who's
You.
not our kid watches it?
Okay, listen to Jennifer, because even without being raised in the church, she didn't choose to smoke or drink or even to socialize or anything like that. She just knew it was something that, you know, was going to alter herself, and that was going to take away from what she really wanted. So,
What is the honeymoon destination that your spouse would most likely choose for a second honeymoon?
oh, this was supposed to be what she would choose. But yeah, I did put Japan. So
You want to go to Japan?
I want to go to Japan with you.
This is like the first time I've ever heard you say that.
No, we talked about it earlier. But
I think I've convinced you to want to go to Japan with me.
yes, you have. But
'Cause I wanna go to
Japan would be
Japan.
her choice.
Yeah. I said Brazil, obviously.
Yep.
You would live in Brazil right now if we could.
Yeah, I would go there.
And never leave.
Yep.
What is your definition of, and they lived happily ever after, and what do you picture for retirement?
My definition of happily ever after would be to have lots of visit from our kids and our grandkids, and
Other family members.
other family members. Yeah, and then just be together forever as a family. For retirement, I picture having a nice house, you know, not too big, but something that our grandkids can come visit a lot, and having some horses outside with a barn, and having rooms for hobbies, like having my own Lego room and just different things like that. So
You already have a Lego room.
I want a bigger one now. Need a bigger one.
Anyways, my happily ever after is just happiness. I mean, it's not really defined by anything or anyone. It's just when I feel happy. I mean, and that will change and throughout the years. And how do I picture retirement? Relaxing. I don't know. I don't, like I said, my vision of that is going to change as I get older, and if I have a family and all that is going to change.
Oh, another thing I'd like to do with Jennifer is go on a mission someday, maybe.
That would be good. I would like that.
She might have to learn Portuguese.
That's probably true.